Welcome everyone. Great that you're here in the Spiritual Healing Open Sessions. The open sessions are sessions that are not determined by a specific subject or anything, but are basically a continuation of what we did yesterday, like the Infinite Way key lessons. And I like to use that because there's a certain subject that is transferred, and yesterday it was like love, but then more in terms of the golden rule in Matthew 7, and so that's such a fundamental rule in appropriate behavior. I have a bit to laugh about the term appropriate behavior, so I hope I behave appropriate. But that has a certain human sounding, but also a different sounding. So if Jesus tells you about appropriate behavior, then you're going to be really interested in what it actually is, because that cannot be what we think is appropriate behavior in terms of we as in human identity, human beings. So to lift ourselves out of that immediately, it's good to realize that this is you can say an instruction in how to apply this, how to apply the idea of the golden rule. And in the Course in Miracles, that is mentioned, at least in the Urtext, is mentioned probably 6 or 7 times, which Jesus applies this to a very specific tendency of the human mind, and that is to be, say, the victim. Well, not really, but it's like the confusion of levels. The confusion of levels. And you might not be familiar with that term, but maybe you are familiar with that term. That would be wonderful. But here's something real fundamental to learn in the sense of getting clarity about it. And that's exactly what we're going to do today, like actually applying the idea of level confusion, at least applying the idea of level confusion to undo it. And that's possible, of course. Yes. So that's the thing. So you have to know what I'm talking about. Level confusion is the confusion between the spiritual, the physical, the material, the mental sphere, the material sphere, physical, and the, spiritual sphere. Not that there are different spheres, but since you have placed yourself in a material mental sphere, we have to deal with that, because you're accustomed to applying everything to the mental realm or the physical realm because you think you're a body. This is common knowledge for a human being. That's common knowledge. You think you're a body, you have a body, mind-body setup, and that is not who you are, but that's the way that you function. So it's a temporary device given you to in fact discover that you don't need it, that the communication goes beyond the form. But since you have believed the form to be something, we go the way back, so to speak. So this is very interesting. There's a lot to discover today. And if you have, say, at the end of this meeting, clarity about this, that is an incredible, jump ahead for yourself, because you can place your thoughts, desires, wishes, thoughts, especially the wishes and desires, you can place them specifically in a category. In fact, it's like, well, that is actually a mental idea. In whole consciousness, this is not happening. This is not an item. This is not a deal, so to speak. This is not a concern. Now, it is not that you then have to negate everything that's occurring. It's like, okay, I have my physical thing going on. Now, do I need to negate it in order to be free of it? No, that's not going to work either. So it is good to recognize where you are experiencing what you are experiencing, and in what realm you are, in what level of experience you are, to recognize where this is happening, and recognize also at the same time that that does not need to be that way, but at the same time that you are not the one who can get you out of it, since you have believed, for instance, the physical thing to have a certain amount of reality in your conscious experience. You brought it in your conscious experience. So you can imagine the incredible healing power of capacity of this, getting this clear. And that's why I can't start to begin with this and start also looking at what Jesus actually meant for the golden rules for appropriate behavior, because that is directly related to the level confusion I was talking about. It is directly related because that's exactly where the confusion lies, where you can behave appropriately, while you have a tendency not to do that, just because you're confused of where you actually find yourself. Now, I hope this makes sense to you so far. But anyway, we're going to start with our daily lesson. See, we need this daily lesson for this clarity, for this recognizing where we actually experience ourselves and where we are actually present. You can say like, yeah, I'm present in spirit. Yeah, I am in spirit. We say this sometimes if you can't get it to the meeting. Like, oh yeah, we'll be there in spirit. Oh, are you really? Are you really? Do you know? Do you know how to do that? So you're somewhere else in a physical experience and at the same time in spirit present somewhere else? I don't think so. But anyway, that's fine too. So now here we say start to become present here. But where is here? And the lesson of today will help us to attune or to align in the space that we actually find ourselves. Despite of your ideas, or despite of your confusion for a moment, or despite of any other idea that you might have. So here, in fact, is our, say, individual spiritual healing process starting. It's happening right here in the daily lesson. See, that's why I said like the lesson is very important, because this is an alignment. That is not just reading a lesson and saying, oh, that's a wonderful prayer. Like, no, that's not what it is. No, this is an invitation to a new experience. And this is good to mention too. So it's like it's a new experience, not the experience you had yesterday, not the experience you had 20 years ago. We're not looking for that. There was one who said, and I repeat this, it's like there's one who said, the experience of yesterday is the prison for today. And you might recognize that. So here, that's why I'm saying, it's like this is a brand new experience. It's happening right now. And you are preparing yourself to have a brand new experience of yourself. In using this miracle prayer, you don't have to make that happen. You don't have to do anything except opening your mind for a new experience. And that will be given to you. You can't make that. That's always the part where you actually release what you think you need to do in order to get this or do this. Like, no. Here is a matter of coming to the altar, an empty altar with your hands open and say like, okay, Father, show me. I'm listening. I'm listening. Active, very active listening. I'm open to receive. And this is what we do. So sit back and relax. And recognize, I'm here. I'm here. I'm coming here into this sphere. I'm arriving. I'm arriving. I'm allowing myself to be centered here. I'm allowing myself to be taken here. See, there you go. I seek a future different from the past. From new perception of the world, there comes a future very, very different from the past. The future is recognized now as but extension of the present. Past mistakes can cast no shadows on it, so that fear has lost its idols and its images. And being formless, it has no effects. Death will not claim the future now, for life is now its goal, and all the needed means are happily provided. Who can grieve or suffer when the present has been freed, extending its security and peace into a quiet future filled with joy? From new perception of the world, there comes a future very different from the past. See, that happens today, that starts today. The future now is recognized as but an extension of the present. Past mistakes can cast no shadows on it, so that fear has lost its idols that are always in the past, and its images. I see only the past. And being formless, it has no effects. Death will not claim the future now, for life is now its goal, and all the needed means are happily provided. Who can grieve or suffer when the present has been freed, extending its security and peace into a quiet future filled with joy? Father, now we pray. Father, we were mistaken in the past and choose to use the present to be free. We choose to use the present to be free. Now do we leave the future in your hands, leaving behind our past mistakes, and sure that you will keep your present promises and guide the future in their holy light. Father, we were mistaken in the past and choose to use the present to be free. Now do we leave the future in your hands, leaving behind our past mistakes, and sure that you will keep your present promises and guide the future in their holy light. I seek a future different from the past. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and being present in this, allowing yourself to come to the place, so to speak, in yourself where the world is further away than it was before. Suddenly you feel like, oh yeah, let's take some time here for myself, let's take another look at this. Let's stand still and listen and receive, instead of being distracted by something outside. So today we do this with the golden rule, as I said, it's like we bring ourselves back to the idea of golden rule, Matthew 7, but then continuing in some expressions from A Course in Miracles in the direction of level confusion, like appropriate behavior. What is that? How can you do that? And why is that so important? Order for appropriate behavior. Order. That's the order for appropriate behavior. This is one of the parts of the text, so that's so interesting. Order for appropriate behavior. You'll see. All things, therefore, whatsoever ye would that man should do unto you, even so do ye also unto them. For this is the law and the prophets. All things, therefore, whatsoever ye would that man should do to you unto you, even so do ye also unto them. For this is the law and the prophets. It is the law and the prophets. So this continues here. Consider the golden rule again, what we just read. You are asked to behave towards others as you would have them behave toward you. This means that the perception of both must be accurate, since the golden rule, and there it is the order for appropriate behavior. You can't behave appropriately unless you perceive accurately, because appropriate behavior depends on lack of level confusion. So here's the introduction into level confusion right away. It's like, this means that perception of both what? Okay, consider the rule again, the golden rule. You're asked to behave towards others as you would behave toward you, then behave towards you. This means that the perception of both must be accurate. And the way that you look at yourself and the way that you look at your brother, your perception must be accurate. Otherwise, how would you know how to behave? Otherwise, you have your own little ideas about it. So you can't behave appropriately unless you perceive accurately, because appropriate behavior depends on lack of level confusion. Now see, this was for me like, oh yeah, let's dive into this lack of level confusion, because we want to know also what appropriate behavior is. The presence of level confusion always results in a variable reality testing, and hence variability in behavioral appropriateness. All forms of self-image debasement, where you make yourself small, are fundamental perception distortions. They inevitably produce either self-contempt or projection, and usually both. Like you depend on others for your self-image, you project it onto others. It's like, you don't do that right, or you're so shameful, or you're so this or that. And you project your own feeling of, say, unworthiness on others, with great passion, probably too. Either self-contempt, or you're like really feeling like you're a victim, or you project it outward. Since you and your neighbor are equal members of the same family, as you perceive both, so will you behave toward both. The way to perceive for golden rule behavior is to look out from the perception of your own holiness and perceive the holiness of others. Okay, now we're back. Now we understand what Jesus is talking about. Like, the way to perceive for the golden rule behavior is to look out from the perception of your own holiness and perceive the holiness of others. As a concept, we got that. Yeah, we can work with this. Okay, so there's an exercise connected to this. But I'm going to actually not going into this exercise yet. We do that later. undoing confusion of levels exercise. Level. We start with the body form. True attribute is a neutral learning device, an illusion. That is how you can see your body form. A neutral learning device, an illusion. It's like it's a temporary learning device, and that's it. But what have you made of it? It's like the confused attribute, believed to be the source of happiness, sickness, reality, or identity. You see what I'm saying? So the body form has gotten a totally different function in your experience of yourself. Like it's believed to be the source of happiness, sickness, reality, or identity. Yeah, so that is the body form, while it is actually a neutral, temporary learning device, an illusion, not designed for happiness, sickness, reality, or identity. It's not what you are. It's not what is real about you. It is not a source for happiness. And all this, and you use it for sickness. You see, that's a confused attribute. That's the error, you could say. So we go to the next level, mind, perception. Because we were talking about perception need to be right. Otherwise, you're still stuck in this. Capable of error and correction. That is, the mind is capable of error and correction. That's the choice. You can change your mind. This is really what it is. It's like you can change your mind. Oh, I made a mistake. I really thought this and that. But I'm now changing my mind. Yeah, I cannot know that. I don't know what's the best for me. I really thought I knew what was the best for me. Now, of course, I cannot know what is the best for me. Now I choose to let Spirit instruct me. See, that would be an appropriate use of the situation. But in the mind perception failure, you could say, believed to be sinful, powerless and victimized by the body. It really believes, in your error experience of yourself, you really believe that your body can do things that are separate from what you think about yourself, as if the body has a mind of its own, as if the body can cause all kinds of things, and you think it is not related to your thoughts about yourself. Now you can see, if you use your body as an identity, then you probably I'll get out of this, because this is so fundamental, but it's so great to have clarity here. It's like you can give the body all kinds of attributes. You can say the body has a mind of its own. Oh, now it's doing this, now it's doing that. And it can be really true in your experience. Don't get me wrong, you can really think that that is true in your experience, but that's because you believe that you are that body, and you're not that body. But if you believe you're that body, then the body can also do all kinds of things, because you already decided that you're not who you truly are, and so you're in a denial of your reality and suffer the consequences of it: pain, illness, sickness, disease, disaster, and death. If you believe that to be you, then there it is. So I'm just slowing this down and starting at the bottom of this table. It's like this, you have to recognize that this is the thing that you're doing with your mind. Now you can say well, I need to pray so that my body will be better, because I'm going to ask this God to help me here. See, and this is where the level confusion is. God in consciousness, in your totality, does not know about the body level confusion, because he's not confused about who he created. So he doesn't know about this body, just because the fact that you identified with it is not a reality. It is a dream. You know this. You've heard this before. But here it is, like now we're going to the next phase of accepting this idea and actually working with it and coming to a new experience of ourselves in doing so. That is the invitation. That's why this has to be clear. If you have confusion about this, you can imagine that you stay in this cycle. You keep repeating the same thing because you're still misidentifying yourself with the body. And that needs to go first before anything else is possible. How can healing occur if you think you're a body? Like, no, in the totality of my being, the body's perfect. There's nothing wrong with the body. So it's only my ideas about it that need to be corrected. I need to change my mind in the middle level. I need to change my mind about what I think I am. And basically come to the conclusion, I don't know who I am, but I want that to be shown. That's my choice. I have a choice to come into a real experience of myself. That gives me the opportunity to see also my body as a total communicative device, but not as an identity of myself. So that's why this belongs in this meeting, just because of that. The mind is capable of error, and that we can admit that. Yeah, I was wrong. I admit I was wrong. I really thought I mistook myself for a body, or I really expected myself in my experience of how I saw myself, that I was actually in a reality, while I actually was in a dream. I perceive myself in a dream, walking around in form, walking around on a planet with my feet on the ground. In form, that's important to recognize too, with images surrounding me, past images haunting me, future images scaring me, or whatever it is. So this is still the middle level. Mind and perception. Oh, I see these horrible images and they scare me because I think I might be next. I see a big threat. I might be sent out of the country, or this might happen, or that might happen, because I see myself as body. That has become my reality. My belief has become my reality. My belief that I'm sinful, powerless, a victim, and that I actually cannot find a place that is safe, is related to the idea that I think that I'm a body. So it's like the level confusion, huh? It's like you see yourself in the mind perception, mind body confusion. You see yourself in that. You see that as your reality. So that can never bring you safety. You will have to let go of that idea and choose to have it be revealed to you what you truly are. So then we come to the next level, the spirit knowledge. Like, knowledge is not understanding. Knowledge is beyond understanding. It is knowing, like the knowing, the divine knowing. Spirit knowledge. Perfect, eternal, unchanging, your true identity. This is, of course, just words that I'm saying. It's like, this is your I am. Confused attribute is not there. If I'm in an experience of this level of consciousness, you can say, then it doesn't need correction. I'm in the direct extension of my true identity. I'm not confused about where I find myself. So you can say, like, yeah, I'm not here. I'm not here. So this is very interesting in the sense of, these are the levels. You know this, but now it's very, very clear. It's like the confusion can be that you try to combine the levels, and that will not work. So that's why we do. If you look at the lesson of today, it's like I seek a future, like not related to the past, different from the past. I don't want to relate it any longer, because where's my idea of past coming to me that is purely in image and memory, like purely image and memory and images, thinking that I have done that, thinking that I've done that, and that's so-called haunting me until I let go of the idea that the past has still a reality. Okay, so this is a preparation. So let's look one more time at the expressions. Consider the golden rule again. You are asked to behave towards others as you would have them behave towards you. This means that the perception of both must be accurate, since the golden rule is the order for appropriate behavior. You can't behave appropriately unless you perceive accurately, because appropriate behavior depends on lack of level confusion. In other words, do you know who you are? The presence of level confusion always results in the variable reality testing. The presence of level confusion always results in variable reality testing, and hence variability in behavioral appropriateness. Like if you think you're a body, you will behave accordingly. If you have any ideas of form and thinking that something can be outside of you, that immediately influences your behavior and what you expect from others, or how you use others. So all forms of self-image debasement are fundamental perceptual distortions. They inevitably produce either self-contempt or projection, and usually both. Since you and your neighbor are equal members of the same family, as you perceive both, so will you behave toward both. The way to perceive for golden rule behavior is to look out from the perception of your holiness and perceive the holiness of others. So this is the invitation then, to start seeing your brother for who he really is. Like you start to see from holiness. And lesson 24. Like in lesson 24 we see this too. Like, I do not perceive my own best interests. How could I recognize my own best interests when I do not know who I am? What I think are my best interests will merely bind me closer to the world of illusions. I'm willing to follow the guide God has given me to find out what my own best interests are, recognizing that I cannot perceive them by myself. See, as long as I think I'm something else and don't recognize the holiness within myself, I cannot perceive right. I misperceive. So all level confusion starts right there. Because if I don't see myself right, how can I treat my brother right? How do I know how to follow up on this golden rule? Do unto others what you want them to do unto you. Like that now becomes the idea of like namaste comes in mind. It's like, see the holiness of you. The holiness in me greets the holiness in you. So this is the point where you come to. It's like this is the practice that we're actually doing. The golden rules actually connect to that. Are you seeing your brother holy as you see yourself? And is that your starting point in your holy encounter that you have in whoever you meet, whenever, during the whole day? Like there's no exception to that. Are you aware of your own holiness during the day? That's actually a question. Now this is great material to work with in our spiritual healing non-public part. So I would love to do that. And